It's always about the grift when it comes to these so-called evangelical Christians. And now somebody, or a few somebodies, these women, and they're always a bunch of damn tools, but now the latest grift is them having wife schools to teach women how to be submissive little homemakers and be, a fuck toy in an incubator, and just put all their hopes and dreams on a relationship, the marriage, and you should submit, in sexual matters. In other words, there's no such thing as marital rape, that a man has a right to your body, and all kinds of goddamn horrible shit. And is this really going to make more women go to the churches? Is that really going to do it? Because they're leaving in droves because of horse shit like this. And of course, this is nothing new. Back in the day, we had fake housewives like Phyllis Schlafly, who actually had a career her whole damn life, being a political activist and organizer and general grifter with self-publishing books and all that kind of crap. And at the same time had gone to law school and graduated there and all this other shit. But she was peddling the housewife thing, and how terrible the Equal Rights Amendment would be for women, because they would actually be treated as human beings and not as objects to be used by men. But it was all a cynical ploy, because Schlafly and her ilk were backed by corporations like the insurance industry, which was regulated by the states. But she was one such grifter, and others like Maribel Morgan, and I think she's still alive. She must be about 90 years old now. And she had a racket going on in the 70s called the Total Woman, a bunch of classes that she took, or that she taught and had other women teach, and had a best-selling book, and one way to get the husband to prevent from straying was to greet him at the door in nothing but saran wrap and all that other stuff. And then you had somebody named Helen Andelin, who made a shit ton of money with her fascinating womanhood and fascinating girl stuff. There are books written about Helen Andelin and how she was a pioneer there, and making money by telling women they needed to stay home and be submissive. But she was a Mormon. And so women are pretty much denigrated in that sector of religion. But now these nut job religious right outfits are pushing this damn stuff, trying to make women be happy to be submissive and all that. It's not going to work. None of this shit's ever going to work, because the 50s are dead, and thank God for it. So anyway, this was in the Guardian, but anyway, it starts out, I'm not going to read this whole damn thing because I have other things to do in my life than this, but a 30-something woman with an easy smile of your favorite neighbor sits in her earth-tone living room, natural life washing over a gray couch so long as it could easily fit 4 children. The woman speaks of a friend, a married mother, who was frustrated she had to constantly remind her germophile husband to wash his hands. Hearing this, the woman cautioned her friend, "I think it would be better for your entire family to get the Black Plague and die than for you to continue treating your husband like a toddler by reminding him to wash his hands." Well, most men are like fucking toddlers. Hate to tell you that. They expect you to do everything for them because their damn mothers did it for them. Anyway, enough of that. Welcome to Wife School, a video masterclass led by Tilly Dillahay, a 38-year-old Baptist writer, podcaster, and pastor's wife. who teaches women how to become the kind of woman who inspires a godly leader. Who gives a damn shit what men want? Who gives a crap? That means molding them into the wives she says that husbands want. Smiling, attentive, and submissive women. Women who know not to nag, even if it means risking the bubonic plague. They call it nagging. But if men would just be a fucking adults and not have to have somebody remind them of something, they wouldn't have to be complaining about it. About nagging. God damn, what a miserable fucking existence. I am glad I never did it. I'd rather be poor in my old age than put up with that damn shit. Because at least I'm rich in my self-respect and in my interests and stuff. And not sell myself to some goddamn dude who's going to treat me like shit decade after decade. And with a bunch of damn kids. Forget it. That is such a... Oh, it's just miserable. Anyway, wife school is part of a cottage industry of affable Christian women. Oh, shit. Come on. Selling online courses, of course, to their compatriots, promising connubial joy with a generous helping of Bible passages and anecdotes from their own her own enviable relationships. If they were that good, you wouldn't have to do that. The proof of concept is their domestic bliss, they say. Dillahay has a satisfied husband, picture-perfect family, and a living room that looks straight out of Pottery Barn catalog. So there is a crisis in Christian wifedom, evidently. Well, more and more women are just ditching it that ever got wrapped up in that. And a lot of women aren't even bothering in the first place with religion. Women, especially those 18 to 29, prime marrying age, you've got to be kidding. You've got to be fucking kidding. But that's the way it was way back in the day. Are fleeing organized religion due in large part to its often regressive view on sex roles, experts say. Meanwhile, their male compatriots, or counterparts, I should say, brothers, friends, husbands, seems to be in the midst of a religious reawakening. You've got a lot of young women questioning the church, said Mariah Wellman, an assistant professor at the Michigan State University who studies influences in the wellness industry. Everywhere outside of the home feels unknown. Well, too bad. Anyway, it's just a bunch of shit. Nobody's interested in being a trad wife. That's all. What? And they're not trad wives. They're not. That's such a misnomer. These are all women that are grifting. They have a home-based business. They're not housewives in the 1950s, and that was not a traditional lifestyle then. It was an aberrant lifestyle because women have always brought in income, always, throughout history. Whether or not they controlled that money, that's another issue altogether. But they always brought in income. And the post-war era was an aberration. And those women were not trad wives in any sense. They did not have home-based businesses as a rule. They depended solely on their husbands for financial support. And they were called dependents. They're still dependents. They're not workers. That's not unpaid labor. And I keep trying to tell women it's not. None of those chores around the house or raising kids, that's not considered work. If you're not doing it for somebody else for money, it's not work. It is chores, and it is treated as a gap from the labor market. However, if you have a home-based business like these trad wives do, then yeah, sure, you're actually working. You're self-employed. So it's all a bunch of crap. You've got these women who were like Andelin and Morgan and Schlafly, always talking about being submissive and all this other crap, but they were raking in the money all along. And so now it's a younger generation of women doing the same damn scam. But those women are raking in the money. Some of them are making big bucks. But the women who fall sucker for it and just go without any income of their own and just rely on a man, they put themselves in a horrific and precarious financial position. I mean, my God, I've known this 60 damn years. In the heyday of most women, married women, staying home. And it was a one-way ticket to poverty if the guy died or kicked you to the curb. And marriage doesn't have all the economic leverage that women think that it does. It's only if you have a lot of assets. But if you don't, forget it. But anyhow, it's all a big scam. And this article is all about that. And all about submission and husband first sex. So basically, they advocate for rape, marital rape. And it's absolutely insane. About hormonal cycles. Evangelical Christian women are subject to suffocating purity culture that shames adherence for pre or extramarital. There's no such thing as premarital. It's non-marital. Sexual exploration. And, oh yeah, and this article goes into all that. Husband first. Yeah, just be a goddamn thing. It's all the same shit we've heard for years. Oh my God, it will increase. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't. Yeah, women are not as interested in sex as woman says. As men. Nevertheless, sex was created by God, according to Lehman, to glue you two together. And when you start making it about you, when you feel like it, you're opening the door to division, temptation, and starvation. Ah, shit! God damn it! Why do people peddle this goddamn shit? I don't know why. But anyway, this is just another scam. And it goes on. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's all the woman's fault. Always. It's their job to preserve the relationship. I just hope that this thing is just another stupid thing, a stupid trend article that never catches fire, because it's a disaster. To be a doormat is a disaster. And it didn't work years ago, back in the 50s. It didn't work then. It won't work now. It never will work. And women need to be their own people and reject this patriarchal bullshit, because the only people who are benefiting from this kind of advice are those who come up with wife school or come up with these damn books. They're raking in the dough, and everybody else is getting the shaft. The end.